Alrighty, let's take off. Number 1. WASP 76b. Picture rain. You know what rain is. Soft, cool, the smell of it on warm pavement. Now take that idea and set it on fire. On this world, 636 light years from where you're sitting, the rain is made of iron. WASP 76b is a gas giant locked to its star. One face turned forever toward the furnace, one face turned forever to the dark. On the day side, the temperature climbs past 2,400 degrees Celsius. That's hot enough that iron doesn't melt. It boils. It lifts off the planet as vapor and rises into the sky like steam off a kettle, except the steam is metal. Then the wind takes it. And the wind here moves at 18,000 kilometers an hour, roughly 14 times the speed of sound, dragging that vaporized iron around the planet toward the night side. And as it crosses the line between day and night, into the cooler air of the evening, the iron does what vapor does when it cools. It condenses, it forms droplets, and it falls. Liquid iron falling out of the sky in a screaming metal gale. We didn't guess this. In 2020, astronomers pointed an instrument called espresso at this planet and watched the fingerprint of iron vapor vanish on the evening side, exactly where it would be raining out of the air. They were watching the weather report for hell. And here's the part that should bother you. As far as this list goes, WASP 76b is the friendly one, the easy one. We understand it. We can explain every drop. It only gets harder to explain from here. Number 2, TOI 6894b. Forget weird weather for a second. This world breaks a deeper rule. It breaks the rule about how a planet is even allowed to be born. There's a star called TOI 6894. It's a red dwarf, and it's tiny, just a fifth the mass of our sun, giving off about 1/250th of the light. A dim little coal of a star. The kind we thought was too small and too poor to do anything interesting. Stars like this are born inside a disk of gas and dust, and that disk is the raw material for any planet that forms around them. Small star, small disk, not much to work with. Every model we have says the same thing. A runt like this can maybe scrape together a few little rocky worlds. It absolutely cannot build a giant. TOI 6894 built a giant. Orbiting that dim little star, 241 light years away, is a planet almost the size of Saturn. It's like finding a basketball in orbit around a marble. The numbers don't add up. The disk shouldn't have held enough material. And when astronomers announced this in June of 2025, they weren't celebrating a discovery so much as confessing a problem. Because they have two main theories for how giant planets form, and this planet says no to both of them. So how did it get there? Right now, honestly, nobody knows. It's the smallest star we've ever caught holding a world this big, and it's sitting there in the data like a question we can't answer. A planet that, by every rule we wrote, should not be allowed to exist, and it's about to get even less reasonable. Number 3, Kelt 9b. Here's a rule so basic you've never even thought about it. A planet is colder than a star. That's just what the words mean. Stars burn. Planets don't. A planet is the cool, dark thing that orbits the hot, bright thing. Kelt 9b didn't get the memo. This planet's day side sits at around 4,300 degrees Celsius. Stop and feel that number for a second. That is hotter than the surface of a real star. There are actual suns out there, burning away in the dark, that are cooler than this planet. The thing that's supposed to be the cold object in the system is outgunning stars. It's so hot that chemistry itself stops working the way you'd expect. Molecules can't survive there. The heat rips them apart into their raw atoms, so the atmosphere is full of free-floating iron and titanium, metals you'd normally find locked inside rock, just drifting in the air as vapor. And its star, a brutal blue thing it whips around every 36 hours, is slowly murdering it. The radiation pouring off that star is boiling the planet away, peeling its atmosphere off into a long glowing tail that streams behind it like a comet. This world is losing up to 10 trillion grams of itself every second. A planet hotter than the stars, bleeding into space, on fire in a way fire can't even describe. Now, let's go somewhere beautiful. That's where it gets nasty. Number 4. HD 189733b. This one's close, only 64 light-years away, basically next door in cosmic terms. And if you saw it from a distance, you'd fall in love with it. It's blue, a deep, rich, cobalt blue, the exact color of Earth from orbit, the kind of blue that makes you think of oceans and sky and home. You'd look at this planet, and your brain would whisper water. Life. Somewhere out there, finally, a world like ours. Your brain would be wrong in the worst possible way. That blue isn't ocean. There's no water making that color. It's a haze high in the atmosphere, full of tiny grains of silicate, the same stuff we make glass from. And the weather underneath that pretty blue haze is something out of a nightmare. You'd be embarrassed to describe out loud. The wind on HD 189733b blows at around 8,700 kilometers an hour, 7 times the speed of sound. And the rain is made of molten glass. So put it together. Glass falling not down but sideways, blasted horizontal by a wind faster than any sound, screaming across a world the color of a tropical sea. You wouldn't get wet on this planet. You'd get sandblasted into nothing by superheated glass, moving faster than the noise of your own scream could escape. The prettiest planet on this list is the one that would flay you alive. Remember that the next time something beautiful is far away. Number 5. 55 Cancri E. You can see this one star with your naked eye. On a clear night in the constellation Cancer, there's a faint point of light, and around it, only 41 light-years away, orbits one of the strangest rocky worlds we've ever found. For years it had a nickname that sounded like a fantasy. The Diamond Planet. The idea was this. If this world formed with a lot more carbon than oxygen, then under the crushing pressure inside it, that carbon could be squeezed into diamond. Not a few gems. A planetary interior of diamond, a world worth a number with so many zeros it stops meaning anything. It's a gorgeous story. It might also be wrong. When the James Webb Telescope finally studied this place in 2024, the diamond idea got a lot shakier. But what it found instead is, honestly, stranger. Because this planet is a furnace. It orbits its star in less than 18 hours. So close that its day side is a glowing ocean of molten lava, well over 1,000 degrees. And Webb found that it has an atmosphere, a real one, made of carbon gases. The strange part is where that air comes from. It's not original. It's being breathed out right now by the magma ocean itself, bubbling fresh gas up from the melt. Which means this world may have lost its first atmosphere to its star, and then grown a second one straight out of its own molten guts. A planet that exhales. The diamond might be a myth, but a world that keeps breathing out new air from a sea of lava? That's real, and it's somehow weirder than treasure. Number 6. The Kepler-51 worlds. So far, every world on this list has wanted to kill you. Fire, metal, glass, lava. You've started to assume that strange planet means deadly furnace. Let me break that for you, because the next worlds are barely there at all. About 2,600 light-years away, around a young sun-like star, there are at least 3 planets that should not be able to hold themselves together. They're called superpuffs, and the nickname tells you everything. Each of these planets is roughly the size of Jupiter. Enormous. The width of the biggest planet in our solar system. But here's the trick. They weigh almost nothing. 3 to 6 times the mass of Earth, spread across a body as wide as a gas giant. Do that math, and you get a density lower than cotton candy, lower than the foam on a coffee. These are Jupiter-sized worlds you could, in principle, float in a big enough bathtub. Think about how absurd that is. Something the size of the largest planet you know, but so faint and so light that it's mostly just puffed up air, barely held together by its own weak gravity, drifting at the edge of falling apart. And there's a ghost in this system too. In 2024, the Webb telescope was studying these puffballs and noticed one of them was being tugged by something unseen, a fourth planet hiding in the dark, revealed only by the way it pulled on its siblings. Not every rule breaker is a monster. Some of them are almost nothing at all, floating where physics says they shouldn't last. Strange doesn't always mean deadly. Sometimes it just means impossible in a quieter way. But let's get back to the monsters. This next one is the most beautiful horror on the list. Number 7, WASP 121b. We've done iron rain. We've done glass rain. Now, let me show you the planet where it rains rubies and sapphires. That's not poetry. That's the weather report. WASP 121b is an ultra-hot Jupiter, 880 light-years out, and it's locked to its star with one face roasting and one face turned away. The day side hits around 2,500 degrees Celsius. The night side, still brutal, sits around 730. That's a 4,000-degree difference across a single planet, and that gap drives winds that tear around the whole world at 18,000 kilometers an hour. On the blazing day side, metals you'd normally find as rock, things like aluminum and titanium, get vaporized into the air. Then, the wind hauls them around to the cooler night side, and there, as they cool, those metals condense into liquid droplets of aluminum oxide and titanium oxide. You know those minerals by their other names: ruby, sapphire. So on the dark side of this world, gemstones fall from clouds of vaporized metal, rain made of jewels, blowing through a sky at 11,000 miles an hour. The James Webb Telescope actually mapped the weather here in 2025, layer by layer, and watched these metal storms move. And the worst, most beautiful part? This planet is dying while it does it. Its star is so close that it's stretching the whole world into the shape of an egg, pulling it apart by the tides, slowly tearing it to pieces. The most stunning rain in the galaxy is falling on a corpse that doesn't know it's already gone. Hold on to that image, because the next world isn't beautiful at all. Number 8, WASP 12b. Every planet we've looked at tonight has been doing something dramatic. This one is having something done to it. There's a difference, and it's the difference between a fight and an execution. WASP 12b is a gas giant about 1,400 light-years away, and the first thing you'd notice is that you almost can't see it, because this is one of the darkest planets ever found. Its atmosphere swallows nearly all the light that hits it, around 94%. Blacker than coal, blacker than fresh asphalt. A hole in space, where a planet should be. But the darkness isn't even the disturbing part. The disturbing part is what's happening to it. This world orbits so close to its star that the star's gravity has grabbed hold of it and won't let go. It's stretched the planet into an egg, a lopsided teardrop of gas. And then, having distorted it, the star started to feed. Right now, this very moment, the star is pulling the planet's atmosphere off in a glowing stream, siphoning the world away into a disk of stolen gas spiraling down into the fire. Roughly 189 quadrillion tons of this planet are being torn off and eaten every single year. Do the cruel arithmetic, and the planet has, at most, a few million years left before there's nothing left of it to take. We are watching, in real time, a world being consumed by the very thing it's chained to. It can't leave. It can't fight. It can only get smaller. Some planets break the rules. This one is just being erased. Number 9. LTT 9779b. Here's a contradiction you can photograph. There's a rule about hot planets. Get a world hot enough and it goes dark, because the clouds that would reflect light can't survive the heat. They boil away. So the hottest planets should be the dimmest, just bare, black, blistered rock soaking up their star's light. LTT 9779b is the shiniest planet we have ever found. This world, 264 light years away, reflects about 80% of the light that hits it. 80%. For comparison, Earth reflects about 30. Even Venus, wrapped in those brilliant white clouds, only manages around 75. This planet outmirrors Venus. It hangs in space like a polished silver ball, a literal mirror the size of a small Neptune. And it has absolutely no business doing that. Its dayside burns at around 2,000 degrees Celsius. That is far too hot for reflective clouds to form. At that temperature, the rules say any atmosphere should be cooked away or blasted off into space by the star sitting right next to it. This planet sits in a region astronomers actually call a desert, because almost nothing like it is supposed to survive there. But it did. Somehow it's holding on to clouds made of vaporized metal and glass, titanium hanging in the air, a mirror finish forged in a place where mirrors melt. One of the scientists who studied it put it plainly. It's a planet that shouldn't exist. A contradiction, glowing silver, sitting calmly in the one place it has no right to be. And that brings us to the last world, the one where we stop pretending we have answers. Number 10. The diamond world around a dead star. Everything before this, we could at least explain. We could point at the heat, the wind, the gravity, and say that's why. Strange, yes. Impossible sounding, yes. But understood. Now we reach the edge of understanding, and we step off it. In December of 2025, astronomers using the James Webb Telescope looked at a world with a name like a license plate, PSR J2322, 2652b, and one of them said, out loud, "What the heck is this?" Start with what it orbits. Not a star. A corpse. This planet circles a pulsar, the crushed leftover heart of a star that already died and collapsed, a city-sized ball of impossible density spinning in the dark and firing off beams of radiation. The planet whips around this dead thing in under 8 hours, stretched by its gravity into the shape of a lemon. Then they looked at its air, and nothing made sense. Every atmosphere we'd ever seen was made of the familiar stuff: water, methane, carbon dioxide. This one wasn't. This one was full of pure carbon, raw molecular carbon floating as soot, black clouds of it hanging in the sky. We had never seen an atmosphere like it. Not once. Not anywhere. And underneath that soot, deep inside, where the pressure becomes a kind of violence, that carbon is almost certainly being crushed into diamond. A real diamond core, forming in the dark, around a dead star. Here's the part that matters. NASA's own scientists said its composition defies explanation. They aren't being dramatic. They mean it literally. We found this world. We aimed the most powerful telescope humanity has ever built straight at it, and we came away with no theory that explains how it can be. It's probably the burnt-out carbon core of a second star, a world that is the leftover of a leftover, diamond-forged from a double grave. We don't have a rule for this one. We just have the thing itself, turning in the dark, daring us to explain it. And that's the tour. Every rule you started this video believing was written by people who had only ever seen one quiet little solar system. Iron Rain broke the rules. Diamond corpses broke the rules. And somewhere out there right now is a world stranger than all 10 of these that we simply haven't pointed a telescope at yet. We didn't make the rules of what a planet can be. We just guessed. And the galaxy is still out there, patiently, world by world, grading our paper.